Hello, my name is Yannick and I'm going to show you a new Phantom Shogun stage 25 team which can clear it in under a minute and doesn't need Kymar or Ninja or someone in this manner. So let's get right into it. So first we see now the run, and I will after the run go into the speed calculator and show you what actually is happening. And later we will also see a new spreadsheet which was used to create this team. And yeah, so firstly, the first difference you might notice already, there's this third cold heart. Usually we had two cold hearts, Nalhorn, Mithrala to cleanse the Enfeeble debuff, and Emic. Emic of course was there to decrease the cooldown, mainly of Nalhorn. Nalhorn's 8-3 has the ability to land an unkillable buff on himself for 2 turns on a 3-turn duration. So to keep Nalhorn unkillable, we needed to decrease the cooldown. That was the main reason for Emic to be there. Now we changed the spot and use a third cold heart to do more damage, but you have to be very carefully with the builds so that this is actually working. Usually the team is already done. I'm recording on a laptop, so it's significantly slower, but still pretty fast, even on video. So let's jump into the speed calculator to see what's happening. Alright, here we are. So, at this point in time, with the A2, the boss spreads the Enfeeble debuff from Nalhorn to everyone else. And we definitely want to get rid of it, so Mithrala comes with a cleanse skill immediately to the beginning and cleanses it off. This pattern repeats. In boss turn 7 we have the Enfeeble debuff again, it is cleansed, and so on. Usually now Nalhorn comes, survives the first hit, and is from there on unkillable. Here we follow a different approach. We survive not only the first hit without Nalhorn having anything, we also survive the second hit without having any additional support. Then with the third hit from the boss, we have the fresh shield from Mithrala, the strengthen, and from Nalhorn also a small increased defense, which makes Nalhorn able to survive this hit if he is built tanky enough. So we survive also this hit without having unkillable. Then after this hit we place the unkillable buff, and from there on we survive with the unkillable. So here we tank with the unkillable. In the next boss turn, we tank with the unkillable, here also, and then we are back to this A1, which doesn't hit as hard as the A2 or A3, and again we survive it with the fresh shield from Mithrala and the strengthen and the increased defense from Nalhorn, which is on point. Then again, the pattern repeats. We place on the next boss turn the unkillable back and survive the next 3 attacks with unkillable. It's always Nalhorn that's attacked. And yeah, this pattern repeats. The cold hearts are pretty fast in terms of that they can take 3 turns in 4 boss turns. Nalhorn the same, Mithrala also, but Mithrala needs to be on a different spot so that the cleanse comes actually on point. Yeah, that's what's pretty much happening there. Let's jump back into the game and we will see another run where we see this procedure in action. So the first hit we survive. That's also where you saw the small shield. That's helping us to survive. So then everything continues and the second hit comes in and we survive again without having anything else. Now Mithrala cleanses, brings us a shield, strengthen, and Nalhorn brings the increased defense and we survive. The boss is not able to break this shield. That's what makes us unkillable in this team. We don't have the unkillable buff every time. We have a shield which the boss is not able to break. So here we survive with the unkillable again, and the pattern repeats. So A2 comes in, we survive with the unkillable, Mithrala brings shield, strengthen, and Nalhorn the increased defense, and the boss is not able to get through this shield. This is HP tuned with a spreadsheet, which I will show you in a minute. But first let's finish this one and see the presets and stats and masteries and whatsoever, everything that can be important to you. So we have, no, we don't want to see the tournament at the moment. Alright, Mithrala opens with her A1. Simply because it's a 2-hitter and not a 1-hitter, and brings the poisons. If you struggle to make Nalhorn survive, you can also open with this skill and use it regularly. That is working, but you don't need it if you are tanky enough, and then you can of course improve with these poisons and the multi-hit. Then, after you opened with it, you need the cleanse skill on a 3-turn cooldown, and everything should be fine. Nalhorn opens with the A1, then the A2, which brings us the increased defense, and lastly the unkillable when everything is done with the shield shenanigans. All cold hearts are the same. We deactivate the A2, we only use the A3 because if we somehow are able to decrease the cooldown, then we want to use the A3 earlier and not decrease the cooldown of the A2. So simply don't use it, use only the A3. Build-wise, we have Mithrala, she's in Stone Skin, mainly because I use her still in the arena sometimes. She is tanky, and we need to have a certain level of HP so that she can bring the shield, which is big enough that the boss can't break it. The number will be computed in a minute. She has a bit of defense, she's fast. I think 281 is the threshold we need. And a bit of resistance and accuracy, which the accuracy is important because you want to land the brimstone debuff here. That's also why I use Mithrala in the lead, to give her an extra boost of accuracy. If you struggle to survive, you might simply use Nalhorn in the lead position so that you can benefit from Nalhorn's defense aura. But mastery wise, just don't use things like Cycle of Magic or Rapid Response that boost your turn meter or bring your skills out of cooldown. You can, if you struggle to make Nalhorn survive, also use these two masteries which improve the shield buff that is placed on Nalhorn. That might be useful. And Nalhorn itself is again tanky. You need to be tanky both HP wise as well as defense wise to make him survive both the beginning as well as in between. He has to be at least 289 speed, but needs to be also faster than the cold hearts. So I have a bit more than 239 speed. He needs to have the most crit damage, so that he is actually the enfeebled target and is attacked all the time by the boss. And the rest doesn't matter really. Mastery wise, I went for the defense and support tree. I can highly recommend improved parry, as Nalhorn is definitely hit critical at some point. So you want to decrease this damage, otherwise you might have problems to survive. Delay of death is of course also a bit helpful, and otherwise support tree, a bit more HP, and improve the shield value in the beginning. I have a diamond speed set on him so that I actually have this 15% self shield in the beginning, and all cold hearts are pretty much the same. They are all slightly slower than Nalhorn, but at least 289 speed. They have to be tanky, otherwise the boss will attack them, and that will definitely kill you one. They want 70% crit rate for the A3. They need to have crit damage, and for the amount of crit damage you can of course use another spreadsheet to find the number of crit damage you need to hit the cap consistently. And besides of that, you want something to decrease the skill cooldown as fast as possible, so I went for Merciless and a few more refresh accessories. And mastery wise, here offense and defense, that's not too important. I can recommend Heart of Glory and bring it down so that you can actually improve on your damage the Heartseeker is doing, and that repeats for all the other cold hearts. They all have in a similar manner. We have Heart of Glory, we have Bring It Down. Stat wise, we have Merciless set again, and 280 and 240 speed actually, a bit of tankiness and enough crit damage to at least do a good amount of damage. Here the same. Here we have 291 speed, crit rate, crit damage, tankiness, and masteries I didn't fully do them, but I have at least Heart of Glory and Bring It Down. Alright, that much for the builds. Let's go into the spreadsheet, which is actually the most important part for this team. So I did this small spreadsheet, which is simply to calculate how much damage your champion, your enfeebled target, is gonna take, so that you can build such a team which focus on surviving, let the enfeebled target survive without having unkillable. So my Nalhorn has 3660 defense, a awakening level of 4 that decreases the damage you are taking. I have the mastery, improved parry, and delay of death. For the first hit I haven't been hit, so delay of death is kinda useless, but for the second hit it's actually useful. For the first hit I don't have strengthen or increased defense. If you struggle with it, you can open with Mithrala, then you have for the second hit at least the big increased defense. And I don't protect myself with other things. You don't need to change the boss here, and I can actually control the counter pretty good. So The counter would of course also increase the damage the boss is doing, but I can control it, so there's no point in increasing it. So the spreadsheet calculates that my Nalhorn is taking between roughly 34,000 damage and 41,500 damage. So we want to survive, so we assume the worst case. The boss hits Nalhorn for this amount of damage, and during the first hit. For the second hit, we actually have now one hit taken, delay of death becomes more useful, and we have a slightly slower number for the A2 now, which the boss is hitting Nalhorn. So if I want my team to work, Nalhorn has to somehow survive this amount of damage that might come. So now I want to compute the HP of Nalhorn that Nalhorn should have. You can of course just take this number, that works. But I needed to get a bit lower, and I used the Diamond speed set. Diamond speed gives 15% shield on Nalhorn. So if we do this mathematically, so let x be the amount of HP which is needed on Nalhorn, then I need to have x minus the shield value, which is 15% of my HP, minus the additional masteries that I have on Nalhorn 2 masteries, which give him 810 and 3000 HP more. They doesn't count for the shield computation, so I have to take them out. But I also have the mastery to increase my shields by 5%. This needs to add up, so I'm able to have this number. Sorry, this should be a plus. This should add to the number we have here in K21. And if we now reformulate this and solve it for x, I have already done this, of course. That is the formula we have here. Then we can actually compute the amount of HP I need on Nalhorn if I want to benefit from this shield. And I need to have roughly 72,000 HP. And if we quickly go back, we can see my Nalhorn has just above this value. So he has just enough HP to survive both first hits in every possible scenario. Alright, let's get quickly back into the spreadsheet, because we have can also check this here for compute the shield value again. For this value we have 10,730 shield value, and add both values up, we end up exactly with the same number we need to take, so it works. But we have another point where we need to survive. That is when the boss is using the A2 and we are tanking with the shield of Mithrana. And for this we now have 2 hits already taken, the A3 and the A2. Then comes the first A1 we need to survive. And for this we now have a big version of Strengthen from Mithrana. We also have a small version of Defense from the from Nalhorn itself, and then we compute that the A1 is doing, in the worst possible scenario, 19,000 and a bit more damage. So we can put this here, 19,000. And then we can see that for this instance we need to have a bit HP on Mithrala. It's not that much. My Mithrala has a lot more. So I definitely am able to survive also the attack on the shield. Yeah, that's of course, Mithrala has a 30% shield, so that's pretty easy to compute. You can of course also compute this further with the masteries of Mithrala and so on to lower the amount Mithrala needs to have, but that would be here overkill because it's much easier to survive the A1 with the strength and the shield and so on as for the first 2 hits in a row. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. The links of course will be in the description of the video, so you can also check them out. You are more than welcome to ask any questions or join the Discord server and ask the questions there or whatever. If you have any suggestions how to improve further, let me know. Yeah, that is the end of the video, and hopefully see you soon.